Here we go, Signal 6! How's everybody? At the end of 2017, I said that every 3 months until I die, I would run an event that showcased artist-driven new British musical theatre. And it was a lie I told myself, and it sort of has become true because we're up to 6. So yeah, you can give a round of applause to that. Who's been before? Who's not been before? Oh, more new than old. I like it. Progressive. So I've had 6 signals. But tonight is different from all other signals because every single song tonight is a world premiere, all 15. Sometimes we get a mix, sometimes people flake out on me at the last minute and say they're doing a draw song or a song we've all heard before, but not tonight. Also, which is cool, which is what I've always wanted. What's the other thing I would say? The other thing I would say is that through the previous signals that we've done, we have showcased 70 world premiere songs by 60 writers, and instigated, that means the shows have begun, because of Signal, 17 new musicals. Which is pretty cool. Because those of you who don't know me, I'm Adam Lenson, by the way. I'm a director that's quite stupidly devoted my life to new British musical theatre. And I want to flood the world with musicals, because I believe that we have a misguided idea of what the form is, and by doing more of it, we might tell people what it can be, and that's what this is all about. So I'm going to stop talking. You'll hear. I'll be back throughout the night, but there's one last thing I'd like to say. This is the first time that a Signal event has been live streamed on Facebook Live. So give a round of applause to the people watching around the country and around the world. I studied science at university, and someone moved. But then I realised I wanted to do a career that combines science and art. The reason this is called Signal is because there's a lot of bad musical theatre, and I wanted to create an evening which had more good musical theatre in it, so I called it Signal in reference to signal-to-noise ratio, the idea of increasing the signal and decreasing the noise. So for those people, I like science, and that is the perfect segue for the first number I'm going to introduce you today from a new musical about science. Darren Clarke and Reese.
Hi everybody, hi Mum if you're watching. This is Reese.
Your mum can watch.
I know, my mum's in New Zealand and she can watch. It's 7:30 in the morning.
Alright, so
this is Reese.
This is Darren, and together we are
Darren
and Reese. So we have decided to write a musical. In fact, probably the only reason it really exists at the moment in its current form is because of Signal. But it's about the life of Alan Turing, who some of you might know. And while Darren is doing his usual faffing, I'm just going to give a bit of context to this particular song. So when Alan was a school kid, he was quite socially awkward, and there was a sort of saviour in his year group called Christopher Mogan, who sort of took him under his wing, sort of showed him how to be a bit more, forthcoming and whatnot. And they became absolutely inseparable. And then tragically, he died. Christopher died very early on from bovine tuberculosis. And thanks to something written by Alan Turing, called Nature of Spirit, we decided to use Christopher Mogan as a sort of omnipresence throughout the whole of Alan's life, to take the audience through his whole story. So this is sung tonight by Christopher Mogan, played by the wonderful Tyrone Huntley. It's a point quite late in Alan's life. Shall I leave it there? A bit of more for Genesis as well?
I'll give you a tiny... Oh, sorry. No.
Come here.
Give you a tiny little bit of context of the song. So, kind of my version of this song is called Symbols and Numbers, and the idea behind it is that at this particular moment, Alan is about to be arrested for indecency because he had homosexual acts with a man called Arnold Murray. And Christopher, who is watching, can see has seen the future of what's going to happen as a result of this. And one of the things that results from it is chemical castration. So Alan was chemically castrated after being found guilty of this. And then shortly after that, he allegedly committed suicide. So this is about his friend seeing that future for him and not being able to do anything about it.
Zeros and ones. If there were no singles or numbers or zeros or ones, then you would not be tied to a pattern, free to break the chain of the system. No predetermined path projecting you towards your future. If I could break down the numbers and set you free from the path you're on, no, it would are all that you know. For symbols and numbers I'm letting you go. By symbols and numbers we rise and we fall. Without symbols and numbers we are nothing at all.
So, for those of you who haven't been before, let me tell you how it works. I pick a bunch of writers who I think are brilliant, and I ask them to write songs. I hear most of them today. The idea of this curation is trusting artists to write work. I think there's a culture of trusting playwrights, there's a culture of trusting artists and poets. There's not a particular culture of trusting musical theatre artists to do what they want. We see ideas being given to writers, films to adapt, books to adapt. That's fine if the artist wants to do it, but the best work happens because artists care, and that's how this works. I get a Dropbox of the songs over the last couple of days, print them out. The band see them for the first time today. We have 20-minute rehearsal slots, so what you're seeing is the freshest work you'll have ever seen, and that was a world premiere. One of the things I'll talk about is the fact that people often say I hate musicals because people have a presumption of what a musical is, sounds like, and is about, which I'm kind of an enemy of, because you just have to listen to a few musicals outside the generics of Joseph and Annie to find musicals that do all sorts of things. But some people aren't interested in doing that, so I'm going to try and force them to. This next song is an example of what happens when you can completely blow the medium apart and do something that no one would ever expect. Welcoming to the stage, Amber Sue and Stu Barter.
Thank you, Ivan. Way to build the pressure. So hi everyone, my name is Stu. I wrote the music you're about to hear.
And my name is Amber. I wrote the book and lyrics that you're about to hear. This is from a musical that we've been working on for about a year now, on a subject matter that I think we've always sort of found it hard to talk about, but it was something that we felt we really want to explore. But we're going to leave it at that because we've done this scene and a bit of a scene before the song.
So we don't have to talk.
If you don't have to, yeah, that was the whole point.
Enjoy. Thank you.
Hi, hello. My name is Brenda. Good, Brenda. I know you're all expecting, a show right now, but they're all up in arms outside saying, how do you put on a show like this about children, about the things we do to one another? And I guess, nobody had an answer, which is a shame, since they had everything set up and that. You see, this here was supposed to be my house. There's the sofa I used to sit on, and there's the table that I used to eat at, and over there is the television, and right there is the window. It looks straight onto Grover Cleveland Elementary, right onto the gates where the children used to gather each morning and wait for the principal to open up. I used to be one of those children, but, that was almost 50 years ago. I forgot to mention, I'm a ghost. But a good one. The good ghost of Brenda Ann Spencer. Yeah. You may not remember your good ghosts, but every child is born with one. And most of us just get, left behind one way or another. Look, there's my bed. That's where I used to pray every night before going to sleep. Sometimes in secret, because my father, he would sleep there too. Till I realized it didn't matter how I prayed. He never could hear what I was praying for. But still, I did pray a lot, and not just for myself, but for everything and anything I saw. In fact, I won a prize once from the Humane Society of America. It was for a photo I took. I don't know if you can see it from where you are, but I hope you can imagine the humanity in it. And over there, that's my gun. But don't worry, it's not loaded. You'll have to use your imaginations again to see the bullets. But you gotta be quick. You wouldn't want to believe how fast a round goes in a gun like that. I know because I went through 36 of them the day that I stuck that gun through that window and opened fire on those gates. But that was almost 50 years ago. That might be harder for you to imagine because, no one ever imagines a school shooter could be a girl. But you know what? I was the very first school shooter that there ever was. 16-year-old Brenda Ann Spencer was. I'm just the good ghost of Brenda. But, that doesn't mean that she isn't still a part of me. So I guess that's why I was just hoping that the show would go on, you know?
We all do.
Oh, hey, good Dylan.
Hey, well, go on. They want a show, don't they? Give them what they want, then. We'll do it with you. Over there's your band, and look, here comes your chorus now. Good Jalen, good Luke, good show. See? There'll be more too later, I'm sure.
I don't know, I was never any good at shows. I wouldn't even know what to say.
I know what we ought to say.
Good Eric.
Come on. You promised me this time. Go on, good Brenda, we're listening.
Well, I don't know how to begin, so
Just start anywhere. An angel once told me, if you're not sure how to say something, then just sing it. And the rest of us will just have to use our imagination.
all right then. I guess if you could imagine that I was once a 16-year-old girl and that this was one of my songs.
Does it matter if any of us were ever good? Does it matter if we were ever kind?
Somewhere in our childhood,
Some of us were left behind.
does it matter if I asked for a radio and all I got was a gun?
Or how many rounds I shot in the dark.
Just to see if I could find someone besides this lonely, sad, bad little girl, this witch of a devil's curse,
With a mouth full of sorrow, a tongue full of blame.
and a punish of damning
Words.
I did it 'cause I was angry. I did it 'cause I was sad.
I did it because I knew what I knew.
I did it 'cause I was mad. Does it matter that my mother was never around and my father sat right there? Does it matter if everyone knew in the end? Does it matter that no one cared? I shot a window of a school one day, wondering if the panes would break, and stepped into that field of broken glass just to see if I would wake. Does it matter that they'd already caught me once and they knew just what I did? Does it matter they let me go in the end with nowhere to go back to but him? I did it 'cause I was lonely. I did it 'cause I was sad. I did it because I knew what I knew. I did it 'cause I was mad. Does it matter I wanted to end it all? He gave me a gun. Does it matter when a father wears down in his school and says, you ain't a thing to no one? Does it matter that I was just 16 when I took that gun in my hand? Does it matter I pulled that trigger cold? 'Cause that's the only way I ever felt like someone. I did it because I was nowhere. Now here I am in front of you, nowhere to go and no one to belong to. Just the ghost of a girl that I once knew. Thinking, is it even possible that I was ever good?
I'd love to introduce you to this fearless and talented band. On the keys, Tamara Saringer. On the guitar, Curtis Volk. On the bass, Stu Richardson. And on drums, Martin Newbury. It takes a special sort of musician to do a day like today, and we got 4 of them, so we're very grateful. I'm very excited to announce the next project, which was instigated at Signal. Yeah. The next lady that's going to grace the stage is someone who, for the last 5 years, has tirelessly worked to make musical theatre better and more acknowledged. We were really fortunate that she has done that for us, and also that she is now taking back her pen and writing again. Welcoming to the stage to tell you about her show, Victoria Saxton!
I'm Victoria, I'm a words person. My composer, Paul Castles, is in New York, so he's watching on Skype live. Hi, Paul. It's quite scary being without your other composer. I forgot all my notes. But this is, as Adam says, a piece that was completely invented because Adam said, write something for Signal, so thank you for doing that. It's set in present-day London. It's a four-hander for 4 women. And the idea, very briefly, because all we've written is the song for Last Signal and the song you're about to hear, is about a woman, I think in her late 50s, who's a very famous Michelin-starred chef. And one day, out of the blue, she calls her 3 grown-up daughters and says, you've got to come back to the restaurant. She shuts the restaurant, she puts them in the kitchen and says, you each have to make a meal using the techniques I taught you when you were younger, and whichever meal I like the best, you'll inherit the restaurant. And all my secret recipes, my fortune. So yes, this is slightly inspired by King Lear. But it sounds really right, like, hey, King Lear the musical. But it's also mashed with our absolute obsession with Chef's Table on Netflix. We're obsessed with food and King Lear. So let's just put them in a kitchen together. We think the whole thing will take place in the kitchen. And I think all you need to know, this is quite an experimental song for us. We want to experiment with sounds, sound world of food actions, which is not that. This is why I'm not an actor. I think all you need to know about the next song is it's the 3 daughters who at the moment are called youngest, middle, eldest. They're alone in the kitchen, their mum's left. They are beginning to prep the dinner using some of the techniques that their mother has probably forced them to learn when they were younger. So excited about trying to develop this piece. This, just have to point out, this is the first time all 3 singers have actually sung this together. It wasn't the best idea to write a trio or Signal. But they're fabulous and they're wonderful. Have I left anything out? I think that's everything. So please welcome to the stage Wallace, Lottie and Georgina. Thank you.
Slice, 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 slice. Slice, 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 slice. Everybody knows, play the part you've got. Everybody knows, stick to your one line. Slice, slice, slice,
One of the main reason I'm so glad that to have Signal at the H Club is because it sounds so damn good. The person who does the sound, you can imagine this is a tough day for him because we have like tons and tons of different writers and setups and singers, and it's changing all the time, and it finishes really late, which is why the doors open really late because we're making stuff. I'd like to give a huge round of applause to the exemplary, the extraordinary Luke Aziz at the back. The next writer I met when he first arrived in London years ago, actually, when he was just starting university, and he came to play auditions for me and was the most extraordinary sight reader I've ever seen, and also knew every musical of everyone that came through the door, even the most obscure ones, some of which I didn't even know. So I was impressed, and as the years went on, I kept hearing, he writes. And I went, oh my god, I bet if I heard that writing, it would be really good. And now we're about to, because for his first Signal, with his writing partner, please welcome to the stage Czornyj, Clarke and Francesca Forristal.
Hello. Hi. Francesca does the words, so she's going to do the words now.
And Jordan does the music, and he will do the music immediately. Yes, we are writing a show called P.S. I Am a Terrible Person. It's about a girl called Martha, who's 16 when we meet her first, and she has a life which is full of a lot of chaos. She's got a mum called April, who is great and also mental. And pretty soon she kind of seeks ways of gaining control in this life, and one of the ways that she does that is through developing an eating disorder called anorexia nervosa. And at first it works really well for her, and then it doesn't work so well for her, and we kind of follow that journey where her family and her friends are trying to understand something which doesn't make a lot of sense, because they're like, is this a vanity thing? And she's like, no. The song you're about to see is just after Martha has come out of hospital after a collapse, and her mum takes her out of hospital, and April goes, don't worry, we're going to have the best day you've ever had, it's going to be great. And they go off to Brighton, and they stay in a little travel lodge. They have a really wonderful day, and one of the reasons they have a wonderful day is because April forbids any mention of anorexia, no worrying about what she's eating, it's just let's ignore it for the day. Cut to 3 a.m, Martha's in bed, April walks in to the bedroom, throws off the covers, and this is April's song as a mother trying to confront what it means to have a daughter who is slowly destroying herself. Jeffrey.
Crisp and clear, we walked along the pier with that scarf around my neck that you find funny. I never take the time to watch the sea. It was beautiful today. I heard some music play from a little late night bar across the bay, and I thought I missed the moment you checked out. I didn't see you go. You should have let me know. I would have done things different. Maybe. So this is you now. Is it you like early nights and avoid conversations? This is you now. Okay. I thought you liked the way you used to be, but maybe not. You don't like the cold, so you don't go outside. You're not really bothered, but you're here for the ride. That's fine with you. So I guess that's fine with me. I think I'll paint the walls again next week. The house is feeling strange. Something has to change. I'll move away and start again. And maybe then I could be okay with this. I could be okay with this. So this is us now. Right. I won't complain and you keep your distance. This is me now. Is it? Mother in the kitchen making 7 kinds of soup, praying you might actually eat one this time. I'm the one that has to know exactly what to do. And how's that even possible if you can't tell the truth? I'm a stupid bitch. I'm the one to blame. I'm the one that's fucked up for trying to keep you safe. You've made your mind up. Who cares what I have to say? I understand now that you will never be okay. I have to face this, but I'm still in mourning. I love you, but sometimes, a mother isn't supposed to outlive her child. But I will be okay with this. I have to be okay with this. I have to be okay with this. I have to be okay. I had the perfect day today. That's how I'll remember this. That's how I'll remember this. I think I had the perfect day today. That's how I'll remember this. That's how I'll remember this.
So, as you might have noticed from those of you with programs, the evening takes place in 3 sets. So, this is the last song of the first set. There'll be a short interval, about 10 minutes, and then come back and see 2 more sets of amazing songs. So, as you can probably tell, the reason I started this was because I was aware of the fact that there weren't really opportunities. I was a 15-year-old kid watching YouTube videos of what was happening in New York and seeing the emergence of writers like Pasek and Paul and Dave Malloy and Lin-Manuel Miranda on scrappy YouTube videos. And I just thought, why not here? Why not really? Why do we not have that scene here? And over and over again, I lament the fact it doesn't exist. I've hoped for years that someone might hire me to do a job that enables those sorts of things to exist. But it didn't happen, because it's a little bit like having a product and no shop to sell it in. So I started my own shop, which is what you're doing here. And Signal was this idea of just pumping a regular present tense sense of writing and disrupting the idea of what a musical looks like, sounds like, and is about. And I wanted to do a new thing, and that thing is called Amplify. And that's another reason that you're all here today, is to just talk about what happens when we take songs and turn them into shows. And I realise I have to take steps before I start running, and that's what Amplify is starting out as. It's going to be a lot more things, But what it's starting out as is a way of raising money from people who think the same as me. That can be audience members, that can be hugely wealthy people who have written musicals before and think that they should put the ladder back down. It can be people who just want to give a fiver. It can be the Arts Council, hopefully. It can be tons of different things. But like essentially what I want to do is create a situation where writers get paid to write things and get acknowledged as artists for writing musical theatre. Because it's a ridiculous thing that our West End theatres at the highest level are filled with musicals that are 30 years old and are attended every single day of the week. And then when a new show gets written in America, like Pasek and Paul's Dear Evan Hansen, or like Hamilton, we flock. We pay £300 to see an American show when we could build it here. But we don't build it here because we systematically undermine what the musical is capable of. So I'm trying to start something. I'm trying to start something, and that something is a fund, and that fund is going to start small. And it's going to start small, and it's going to pay a few writers to write. For a week, maybe 2, maybe a month, depending on how much money we get. But it's going to start small, and it's going to start getting bigger. That's the intention. What I'm asking you here tonight is spread the word about that fund, and if you've got money to give, invest in the future. Invest in what musical theatre can be. You can do it in 2 ways tonight. I've never asked for money after of 5 previous signals. Every single time previously they've been free. This is the first time I'm asking. You can go to bit.ly/Amplify Fund. It's on your programme and you'll see various different ways of doing it there. Or I have a tapping machine. I actually got one! So if you come over to me in any of the breaks, I'm going to put myself down here, come talk to me, come tap some money. If you care, vote today. And what I can say is today it started something. And the basic point is we need to change things, and the only way we're going to change things isn't moaning, it's by doing. I'm doing something, it's fucking scary, because there are times in which I feel like an absolute mad person for caring as much as I do. But I think we deserve better. I think when I look at America right now and I see A Strange Loop off-Broadway, and when I see Octet off-Broadway, when I see the show, when I see that Dave Malloy's writing a full-length Moby Dick for the public theatre, like, I'm there going, why can we not have that when we've got this much talent in this room? And Signal is insane to run now because so many people want to do it. Like, the stage needs to get bigger, the opportunities need to get bigger. So please, tweet, Facebook, something. If you know people, write to them, start something here today. But I'm going to stop talking now. I just wanted to say that early on. The other thing is, if you could go on Facebook and follow Signal on Facebook and repost the fact that we're doing a live stream, just so your friends know. You might be here and you don't need it, but let other people know about it. The last song of the set is going to be a brand new song for a brand new project instigated at Signal by the incredible Sarah Middleton and Joel Fisher.
Well, just before we go on, I mean, like, that guy, though, right? Genuinely, whenever I have a down day and I'm worried about, like, what the future holds for me and the arts, which has been quite a few times recently for people who out there who know me, just think about the way Adam approaches musical theatre, and I'm like, yeah, the world's safe. I'm Joel, this is Sarah.
I'm Sarah, hi.
Sarah is a brilliant book writer and lyricist, and I've written the music for this. This is a song from a musical called Jonah. Yes, he is in a whale. He is in a whale. I'll set the scene a little bit. Imagine you're living in a world where there's lots of like really rich and annoying people who are doing really bad things to the world. And imagine that world is getting worse and worse and worse, and you're sort of you're starting your life, you're starting your career, and then God comes and says, can you fix it for me? That's what's happened to Jonah. He's run away, and we join him as he is swallowed by the whale. And I'd like to welcome Charlie up on stage, who is going to be Jonah for us this evening.
I suppose I'm supposed to talk to you? Well, I'm not apologizing. I didn't ask for this. Everything was going fine. I had my own plans. Ideas, good ideas. Not Nineveh, you know. Not solving someone else's problems. You know, they're out of control. They're rioting, pillaging, stealing tellies from old ladies and joyriding across parks. Don't look at me like you wouldn't have done a run or two. You know, it always falls on me to fix other people's mistakes. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be a good person. I buy clothes from charity shops. Sometimes. I have one of those metal water bottles. But you know, I just can't do. I've tried. I'm not gonna be judged. Stop this roller coaster ride. I'm gonna get off. This underwater business has gone on long enough. Can we call it a day? I'll be on my way. Somewhere show me the exit where it's kind of commit. Somebody doesn't John. I'm sorry, I quit. Let me out of here. I'll make this clear. You've got the wrong guy for this job. I'm not the man to kiss your foolish mission. I have my own ambition. I have more to give. I want out. I want out of your stupid game. Don't want this legacy to bear a name. I just want to live. Give me something else to do. I'll start today. I might fight or face. Just keep me out of harm's way. Then we can both agree. This wasn't meant for me. Thought I made you cry. Thought I was living all right. Hope you notice how I tried to fight the good fight. But it's not enough for you. There's always more to do. There's no way I can do this job. I'm not the man to give your love. I want out of your foolish mission. I have my own ambition. I have more to give. I want out. I want out of this stupid game. Don't just take me to bear a name. I just want to live. Any task, any job, any other you got. High or low, big or small, if it pays me enough. Anything, name your price, even if it's taboo. Is there any other way I can be useful to you? Are you there? Can you hear from this watery state? Am I already gone? And is this some kind of hate? Someone would invite, it's all in or all out. To fight me out, fight me out, I want out. I want out. I want out of your foolish mission. I have my own ambition. I just want to give. I want out. I want out of this stupid game. So what the place is terminated. I just want to live. Stop this roller coaster ride.
10 minutes! Welcome back. Second set. Those of you who are in the bar, now's the time to come back in. I'll talk for 30 seconds so you can. Those who are in the room, now's the time to talk less. Yeah. Here we are for set 2. A huge thank you to those of you who tapped. It was fun. It was my first tapping experience. It was great. By a brief calculation, if everyone in this room gave a fiver, as small as a fiver, 4 of the writers here tonight could have a week's commission to write something. And although the people who say musicals take 5 weeks, 5 years, the amount the writers can do in a week to increase their product. So I'll just leave that there. Anyway, this is not going to be a telethon. This is going to be a night of new musical theatre. And I'm really pleased to be bringing back a Signal veteran. This is someone who's done 100% of the 6 signals. They started. Guys, those of you who are talking, I'm really sorry. It's just really if you're in the room and you're talking, I've got to present a show. Feel free to go outside into the bar where there's a secondary stream of sound and let some other people sit down. Thank you. Ooh, felt like a school teacher there. It won't disturb you to realise that I was the person in school that was constantly being told that by teachers. So that was weirdly satisfying. Anyway, Signal veteran, written 4 songs for this show. The fifth Signal they tried something different, but now returning back to the project that they instigated at Signal. I think that's the thing now, IAS. It's a show that started here. It's a show for which they've written 4 songs which you can see on our YouTube channel, but musicals aren't written in order, and tonight they are presenting the opening number. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Michael Conley!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Michael Conley. Tonight I will be singing at you from a musical that I'm writing with Luke Bateman. Luke wanted to be here tonight, but not enough. As writers know, sometimes you have to start a project before you can not finish it. Which is why I have to tell you that Luke and I are no longer writing the fabulous Fox Sisters, 3-woman musical about the creation of spiritualism. We decided instead to focus our attention on the fabulous Fox Sister, a 1-woman musical about the creation of spiritualism. And as any performer knows, being on stage alone is better because you don't have to pretend to listen to anybody. So tonight's song is an opening number for Kate, the youngest of the Fox Sisters and the only one left in the show, as she welcomes you, the audience, to her final seance. So you wanna hear our story? Tough tits get in line. Nope, this story's mine. You got money? Fine. Here's a tale of love and glory, and it goes from youth through to long in tooth, and it's all the I was born 1838, early May. I was actually born in Canada, eh? I was one of 6, as you may have read. I was one of 6, the rest are all dead. First 3 sons and then 3 daughters, Dad and Mama bred like trotters. Truth, we were poor, but quaintly. Still I went to church on Sundays, pressed my dresses and my undies. Truth, I was fucking saintly. Truth, I was some good girl and boy did I cry. Truth, well why would I wanna lie? I was 7 when we all moved to Hydesville. Or as Leah called it, Jesus, who Didesville? I was 9 when Mom and Dad split, I think. It was fine because, well, Dad liked to drink. Did I suck it up and suffer? Did I? Hell, it made me tougher. True, someone some admired. Care for Leah when she'd show up. Care for Dad when he'd get toe up. True, I was fucking tired. Truth, it was worth every tear that I cried. Oh my, that one was a lie. Well, for women life was formal, life was full of strife. Life was, well, was life, born to be a wife. But bring in the paranormal, and if it you see things a girl can be, that's all down to me. Truth, I was 10, and I he and I shared a bed. We convinced Mama that we could talk to the dead. It was not a hoax, as the other one does. It was all a hoax, just like I said it was. So how did I go from history true to making goddamn history true? I was a little assy. We'll start with that night, alrighty. Picture me a flannel nighty. Truth, I was fucking classy. Truth, shall I show you how I winked my third eye? That didn't come out right, please don't lie. Tell the story, I'll try. Truth, and I promise not to lie.
So it turns out that one of the cool things is if you say to people that they have to present a song on a certain date and that it has to be brand new, people write songs, which is a really nice thing because like a high majority of the songs tonight, I hope the writers don't mind me saying, wouldn't have been written if there hadn't been something to write them for, and there's such talent that we need more things for people to write for. Anyway, the next act is going from a Signal veteran to a Signal first timer. I would like to introduce to you the incredible Rhinannon Hopkins.
Hello. My name is Rhinannon Hopkins. I'm writing a song cycle called Clean Up on Aisle 3, which is set in our favourite place, the supermarket. The song I'm going to perform is called Naked Pictures, and my good friend Emma Ralston is going to single-handedly play the ensemble. It's ensemble. He was meeting up with his ex a lot, but that's okay, I understood. I was actually pretty good about it all, mature or so I thought. Some did say a little bit naive. I didn't know he was such a piece of shit. It wasn't meant to be. I can see that now. Wherever he went, he took his phone. I often wondered why. If my hand ever even brushed it, he looked like he could die. When I asked him, can't I have a peek? He told me I was clingy and possessive. So I waited till he fell asleep, and I found naked pictures of the girl who served us in Forristal last night. I found naked pictures of my friend that he met once last July, and I found naked pictures in an album labeled Girls with Nice Tits. He said he was sorry in his own little way, where he didn't actually say he was sorry, he just looked the other way. I know what he meant though, he meant don't leave me, Rhiannon, I can't live without you, I made a horrible mistake. Although he didn't say those words, I know that's what he meant. He wants the life we planned and it's only detached in bed. So when you said it was over, I'm not gonna lie, it was quite a surprise. Looked him right in the eyes and said, no, 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 no. Naked pictures, naked she looks like a rat. You are literally the worst person that's ever been born, Graham. I'm never speaking to you again. I hope you choke on your own shit and die. Graham. Oh, so sorry about that last message. I've had some stuff going on unrelated. I just want to let you know that everything's great. I've actually met someone new and I think we should move on, Graham. Goodbye. It wasn't meant to be. I can see that now. And I hope that he sees me outside his house, watching them in bed. Little does he know I've been living in his shed. Okay, that's enough. Thank you.
Rhinannon was one of those people that numerous people kept telling me was cool, and so I asked her to single, and she is indeed cool. Thank you so much. So most of the time I let writers do what they want. This next example is something that someone that did what they want. But I read a book called The Death by Video Games, which was about sort of like philosophical and sociological look at the way video games have changed culture, and like a lot of really interesting stuff was in there. It's hugely interesting, and like even if you don't like video games and you want to know why everyone's playing Fortnite and Minecraft, it's kind of in there along with a load of other stuff. And it was published a few years ago, and I suggested that this next writer read it because I knew he made digital music, and what came from it is a video game musical, of which this is the second song. Welcome to the stage, Czornyj.
Yes, so I'm Chris. As Adam said, this is a video game musical. It's an interactive video game musical, hopefully, eventually. It tells the story of a family who's coming to terms with their diagnosis of cancer. It's told through the lens of their autistic son, who is obsessed by video games. If you saw the last signal, the first song the son sings was presented, and it happened just when he discovered this diagnosis, and this song is by the mother at the end of the show, when she's kind of come to terms with what it actually means to say goodbye, what it means to leave the world. Because, you get that diagnosis, and sometimes it's in the future, and it doesn't always sink in, and I think at this moment it kind of has. And so I'd like to welcome to the stage Britt Lenting to perform End of the Story.
Once upon a time, can be anywhere, whatever the journey, you wish you were there. At the beginning, with a tale still to tell, each word brimming with the possibilities they spell. But what do you do when you reach the final page? What do you do when the whole game's been played? What do you do when you near the end of the story? How do you say goodbye? How do you leave the world behind? When you find in your mind, it's when you feel
way as I near the end of my story. I have to say goodbye. I have to leave it all behind. I love my pride in my mind, the strength I need to stay alive as I leave it all as I leave it all behind. What do you do when it's your time to go?
So, for anyone in the audience, does anyone in the audience, I was just going to say, anyone in the audience that doesn't know how electronic music and live music is combined, it's with a click track, which means that the band have in-ears with a metronome, which is playing in sync with a live, with a digitized track from a computer that I just queued over there. And doing that, now I can say that both of the click tracks have been done, Stu and Amber's one, and that one. Doing that on a day like today is mental! But we're so committed to showcasing the fact that musical theatre can sound like that, that we do it. And I just want to give a huge round of applause to this intrepid band. Mental. The next pair are two brilliant writers who I actually didn't know wrote, but I've known them for a while and know that they create and develop and run a series of incredible choirs and bring singing all over the country, and are two utterly brilliant people. And a couple of months ago, a Twitter account appeared with their names on it, saying that they wrote musicals. It turned out they've been writing musicals for ages. I just didn't know. Welcoming to the stage, Emily Garsin and Anna Shields!
Thank you very much, Adam. Hello, everyone. I'm Anna, this is Emily, or the other way around, as Garsin and Shields. The song we're going to perform for you tonight is from our latest musical project, which currently has the very long-winded and definitely working title of The Complete Guide to Being a Girl. And it tells the story of a teenage girl called Hallie, who has lots of questions about the world and its various complexities. And very excitingly for her, a new program arrives in her town, claiming to empower the next generation of brilliant young women, and with it, find the quote-unquote best girl, which is a very loaded concept, and one Hallie unravels for its hypocrisy throughout the course of the show.
So the song you're going to hear is sung by Hallie. She's basically venting at her best friend Tristan. It comes quite early on in the show. Hallie's just had a fallout with her mum, and her mum sends the pair upstairs to revise quietly. And as they're revising for their history exam, Hallie starts to feel really annoyed that she can barely see any women in the syllabus. And so she remembers that her grandma has given her a book that's all about loads of brilliant women that history's forgotten. So she's inspired by these women to make a bit of noise about all of the changes she wants to see in the world.
And here to sing it for us is Liberty Buckland.
It up and then I'll rewrite it, rearrange it. I want to hear the stories where the woman saves the man. I want to see myself, and now I can. challenging the system with their brilliant minds. Why aren't we taught these women or inspiring women? Most of them forgotten, dreams all left behind. I'm inspired by these women, lighting fires and blazing trails. Leaders, writers, freedom fighters, making sure we tell their tales. Marching with their sash and banners, panker shouting deeds, not words. Hunger strikes and pushing boundaries, let their voices heard. Stretching minds and pushing boundaries, science, maths, philosophy. Breaking ground to make things fairer, fighting their misogyny. Abolition, activism, making waves and equal rights. Here I am, I'm ready well to stand with them and join the fight. I want to set the world alight. See it blazing, set a beacon burning we're the ones inheriting this mixed up, messy state. Shake it up, I can't sit and wait. It's time to make some noise. Can we turn it up loud? I'm gonna make some noise. I'll sing out and loud, so one day we can rejoice that we fought to have more like these women before, who let me have a choice. So look out, world, 'cause I'm gonna make some noise. Look out, world, I'm gonna make some noise.
So last performance of set 2. Just hearing that song reminded me. On Sunday night, I was at a brilliant launch event for. I think Kate might be here. Kate, you here? Yeah, Kate's there. Kate Marlow, who has written songs for previous singles, has set up a brilliant organisation called Modulate to address the possibly terrible, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it, disparity in genders in composing. And one of the things that Kate said at that mixer was she went to school and university and studied music and didn't get taught a single female composer. Yeah, so anyway, we at Signal really care about representation and really care about Modulate. So go look at, what is it? What's on Twitter? Time to Modulate, at Time to Modulate, which indeed it is. So give that a look. I also want to give a shout out, Grace Taylor, who's a part of Team Signal, brilliant director. She's running a new project in a similar vein to celebrate women's stories and female writers. And she is working on a project called The Ceiling Project. So go look that up. I think that's at The Ceiling Project. Yeah. Yes, did it. Cool. One more team. They came all the way from Nottingham. So let them do 2 songs. Enjoy the inimitable, the extraordinary Sheep Soup!
Hi! Yeah, we came from Nottingham, so we get to do 2. And also because Adam's directing the show that this is going to be from. Anyway, we're
so
Sheep
now
Soup.
you all hate us. We're Sheep Soup.
We're Sheep Soup. This is our first single. We're dead excited, but we've been before to watch, and it's been amazing so far. And then I'm sitting there going, "Oh, we've got to do it." So we are. We make musicals in Nottingham, but we're connected to Leicester Curve. We're associate artists there after being breakthrough artists. I'm Nick. This is Rob. We write together, we write the songs together, but our book writer Esther, wonderful Esther, is at the back somewhere, and our producer Anya is here too. And yeah, our sort of USP, I suppose, is that we try to create musicals with actor musos, so actor musicians on stage. There's no sort of separate band, there's no kind of spontaneous choreography that everybody knows. It's kind of naturalist, even though we love those musicals. But it's kind of, it's kind of naturalistic settings, so the music happens naturally in those places where they would. So we've set shows in recording studios, open mic nights, and we had a show set in an old lady's living room who used to be a Motown backing singer and now grows weed for her arthritis. And they just sing her back catalogue of Motown songs that we made up, which was really fun. But our new show is about hoarding. Do you want to talk about that?
So, yes, our new show is about hoarding. And within the past few years, hoarding has been classified as a mental health illness in its own right. We like to do comedies, but we also like to balance it with research and make sure we sort of toe the line between being informative and being fun, and breaking some of the stereotypes around it as well at the same time. And so this is sort of a bit of a rule breaker for us, because in this show, we've decided to sort of tread the line between moments of naturalistic music and moments that are not so naturalistic, like this opening song. Because when we spoke to some people who work quite closely with hoarders, they talked about the objects in their house having feelings and not being able to really throw them away because they have a deep emotional connection to them. And so we thought the best way to do that was to give the objects voices, not so much in our character's head, but more like in her heart, if that makes sense. So yeah, this is the opening song. It's called Ready for Anything. If you can use your imagination, imagine I'm a woman in her late 60s, early 70s, and please imagine at key points, Nick is a kettle, a chair, a light, and a mirror, for which he's going to give you his best accent work.
Just for like differentiation, yeah.
We finished writing these today. The band picked them up today on a jam. So, yeah. Have fun. Let there be light. Show me the way. Let it be a bright new day in my precious little paradise. Welcome to the jumble. Meet all of my friends. Sparkling with wonder. We make do and we mend. Been far and wide, all over the globe. Built my whole world into a treasure trove. Not photogenic or particularly chic, and still not quite complete, but it's home. Over time I've been feeling these things that I'm keeping have sentimental meaning, like they're speaking to me. No need to open that letter. Time for a tea when I hear that kettle sing. Yeah. Does it never look better? We won't worry what the future brings. We got it all, and we're ready for anything. Sit there in the caress of my chair. Lay your troubles bare. A beautiful share. Now we're feeling prepared and we're ready for anything. Let there be light. Help me see every possible opportunity. Cardi A
for a car boot.
Cardi B
for a skip trip.
See through G, fairly nondescript. Yeah, they're nice, but not quite. Yeah, there must be something that's right. Aha, my sweet seven dress, that's an obvious yes. Swishes and swings, soft to the skin, and this color is in. I guess that's a win. I'm ready for anything. No need to open that letter. Time for a tea when I hear that kettle sing. Ready for anything. Check my reflection, never look better. We won't care what the future brings. We got it all, and we're ready for anything. A little TLC and it's spreading its wings. I'm the holy savior of neglected things. With a golden touch, I'll be sprucing you up with love enough to fill up every measuring cup. We got oodles of the stuff, and whatever else I bring has a place at my table. And a song to sing, yes, it's lonely to be solo, but when harmonies ring, we're ready for anything. All the time I've been feeling these things that I'm feeling have sentimental meaning, like they're speaking to me. I'm ready for anything.
open that letter. No need to open that letter. Ready for anything. You open a band on this.
So now our central character is estranged a bit from her family, which happens a lot of the time when people hoard. It sort of creates a bit of a divide. And the naturalistic music that comes into the show comes from her granddaughter, Molly, who sort of tries to bridge a gap and realises that her grandmother has a sort of musical side to her and sort of presents her bedroom, loop pedally, guitar-y, singer-songwriter vibe to her grandma, and they sort of start creating music together. One of the big mistakes that people make when they're working with people who hoard or family members who hoard is that they have a tendency to just go in and just try and make them get rid of a load of things, which is quite difficult for them because so much of their emotional history and personality is invested in the objects that they hoard or collect. And this song is a song that is performed by Nell as after a big sort of bust-up when, in an attempt to sort of declutter the house, it just gets too much. She's attempted to declutter her house many, many times and it's not worked, and she always ultimately ends up feeling left with the less positive emotions underneath it all. And so, without being too expositional, this is called The Sad Things Win.
Yeah, we're going to leave you on a really positive one.
Yeah. But there's more music after the break.
We didn't get time to do this with the band, so they're just going to sit and listen to this on the phones.
Yeah. Oh, also, just to say, so we finished writing it today, and Nick knows some bits and I know some bits, but imagine this is all one character. I mean, he was a couch 5 minutes ago, so this is less of a stretch.
I'm too weak. I'm making my excuses. Now you make yours and leave me alone. I'm better off solo. I don't need a chorus or your harmonies. I'm singing on my own. So I'm not on your wavelength, and I can't keep your time, but at least give me some credit for giving it a try. You say I'm beyond saving, but if you want to give up on me, you'll have to get mine. 'Cause I've always had an evil twin playing on a tiny violin, and I'll forever hear her wailing in the wings. And the sad things win if you keep too much of anything. The sad songs begin, twisting every positive spin. Try to see a bright side and fight right through the pain, then suddenly you're buried in the shame. And the sad things win if you let them in. Another flirt with impossible, hoping this time would be different, hoping this time the good thoughts come. till it's 3 years later. You're back where you started, square one. But it's always just a temporary fling that turns the winter into spring. And of all the lines I ever learned to sing, the sad ones win in almost any key you're in. The sad songs begin and they're twisting every positive spin. You try to see a bright side and fight right through the pain, and suddenly I'm buried in the shame. And the sad things win if you let them in.
If the woman in the mirror isn't even on my side, every promise that I gave feels like a bad taste punchline. The joke I never meant to make has become my daily life, and almost every time I give in. And the sad songs eventually win if you keep them in.
Welcome back! Guys, there are a couple of seats near the front if anyone doesn't want to stand. A few people had to leave to watch Love Island. Thanks, Martin. I mean, I am watching Love Island religiously, but I'll watch it on Watch Again later on this evening. Brilliant, welcome back. Part 3. I just want to once again thank the amazing live stream. Again, actually, I'm just going to ask everyone in the room who's talking, unless you're trying to get to a seat, if you could just not, I'd love it. Just going to give it another 5. Oh, that was satisfying. Well done, everyone. Good. So I just want to again thank the fact that there is a live stream, and the fact that every single song that has been premiered at Signal before is available on YouTube in like ridiculous multicam, super edited, super amazing things, thanks to the incredible team of the wonderful Barter Podkova, who is right now positioning a GoPro. He runs a company called Seven Hills Films. Go to our YouTube channel, which you can find and on the ALP, Elemental Productions website, you can see all of the Signal videos and find out a lot of the other stuff that's happening. But like, it's an incredible asset to theatre that we have, Bartek, because he's a brilliant editor and he edits the music so wonderfully. The fact he managed to do a live stream tonight is super cool, and it means that people can watch it immediately, and as well as the videos they get to deal with my kind of eulogizing on the internet. So thank you to him, thanks to Dante Kim, who's down the front, he's been taking photographs. Just a big thank you to the people who are archiving this event, because I really hope, I look forward to saying, oh, you're in Signal 23, I was in Signal 4. Like, I look forward to that chat. And the fact that we can keep a log of it is a testament to every cool person here. Anyway, welcome back. Part 3. He came and did a song of this at Signal, talking of that numerology, at Signal 4. He's back for Signal 6. Welcoming to the stage, Matthew Jacobs Mogan, who is writing with Tom Foskett Barnes.
This is from a show called Gangy Banshee, which I'm writing with my lovely friend Tom Foskett Barnes over there. This is Connor Gormley, who's going to be singing with me. The show is just basically about a young queer black guy who's trying to discover why a lot of his past relationships have failed. And this song is, and scene, is based on life. Wow. You really like Donald Glover.
His name's Childish Gambino?
Yeah. That's what
He's so fucking hot.
Have you ever heard that song that he did with Tina Fey? It's hilarious.
He's real shit to say, you know. He's like a proper artist.
Yeah, I know. I haven't actually asked what you do for a living now. What?
I want to go back to school, maybe. Or like maybe start a company, maybe. I want to make mood rings, but for like cocks.
Mood cock rings. Great idea.
I know, I patented it.
Wait, so you're not working right now?
Not really, I just want to... I want to focus on figuring stuff out, you know?
But how the fuck do you live in this place then? Are you family money? What the fuck? Why did you let me pay for dinner?
I didn't want to show off.
Who's your favourite superhero?
Spider-Man, definitely.
Yours? All the women in Black Panther.
Good shout.
Cloud Atlas, I'm throwing this in the bin.
I actually thought it was really good. The cast is insane.
Yeah, they were trying to polish a turd of a script, but diarrhea is difficult to polish. Wow, I fucking hated it.
Are you seeing other people?
No, not at the moment, no. But I have seen many other people before you, like quite a few, but... Ooh, West African kitchen.
Yeah, my fufu would put your mums to shame.
Well, we're from the Caribbean, so... Fufu's West African, but I love it. I love it, but... They start kissing.
You're so sexy.
Thanks.
You're a top, right?
Bingo.
Great. I want you to fuck me.
Alright.
I want to gobble your big, black cock.
Okay.
Destroy me.
Of course.
Punish me for all we've done to your people.
I'd rather have reparations, to be honest. Have you got Monzo? My big black cock's offended by insensitivity. Do you think it's made out of stone? I understand you're not attempting to be mean, but there's one thing you should know. I'm not a fetish, I'm a human being, my blood is being the same. I'm not a fetish, I'm not here to undo centuries of pain. I am not a fetish, but I wish I had the balls to make that clear. But since we're here, what's your name?
Toby!
What's your name?
Toby!
What is your name?
Peter Pentry!
You're into blacks, I understand that's pretty clear, but it has an adverse effect. Don't bring it up unless it's me who volunteers. Please have a little respect. Cause I'm not a fetish, I do have needs, it's not a one-way street. I am not a fetish, and those anal beads which avert the power of speech. I am not a fetish, I don't understand how this can turn you on. And we're still not done.
Put this on.
What?
Okay, so knock on the door, and then when I answer, storm in, and I want you to ravish me.
Okay.
What, does that make you uncomfy?
It's moments like this I should learn to say piss off, but somehow my tongue gets stuck. Just give him what he wants and then you can go home. At least I'm getting the fuck.
I'm winning!
Sorry, I need to get into character. Right, spiffing.
Can you talk a bit more urban?
Sure. I wanna kiss, not just fuck and fist. I wanna look you in the eye. Something real. I wanna feel that you're gonna take me high. and leave you when we're done. What's in this for me? 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 Yeah!
Get your donkey cock out and let's alleviate still but know what we're talking about. Let me feel your ebony skin. Wanna lube you up with cocoa butter, boy, my African prince. Let's alleviate still know what we're talking about. Let me feel your ebony skin. Wanna lube you up with cocoa butter, boy, my African prince. Do you know the Martin Luther King speech?
Not off by heart, no.
I printed it out. Can you read it to me?
Oh yeah. I ignored it. I have abolished my dream. I am not a fetish. My ancestors are looking down with shame. I am not a fetish. Are we finished yet? I just can't. I am not a fetish. I'm about to burst into fucking flames. I have to go.
Set 3 gets racy. One of the things that's weird about musical theatre is it feels like it always has to be for families. It always has to stop, like Watershed. So thank you, Matthew. Some of you heard this story before, but I went 4 years ago. I went to New York, and while I was there, I went to the Musical Theatre Factory, which is kind of an initiative that at the time was set up to develop new musicals in what was a leased ex-porn studio. Yeah, that's the thing. Someone in Midtown had an ex-porn studio. They didn't need it anymore, and so it ended up being a small incubator for new musical theatre called the Musical Theatre Factory. And it sort of runs all the time, late night. It's so kind of a bubbling machine. And I happened to be in town on the night of an open mic night there, and I think it was about midnight. Like, it ran all night. And at this open mic night, I met a writer from Barnet, which surprised me. And whenever I think of her, I always think of kind of late nights in New York. And one of the things I always thought about was that we don't really have late night musical theatre. There's not that kind of that vibe that they have there, and that's what session 3 is all about. Anyway, welcoming that writer to the stage from Barnet via New York, Emily Rose Simons.
It's ironic because the northern line, I'm right at the top of the northern line, but right at the bottom of the mic. Hello everyone. I have a musical that is called The Wee Patriot, and Adam is the director for this musical, and it had a scratch at JW3, which is the Jewish Community Centre, and there's a Jew in the and it's about a woman who loses her visa. She used to live in New York. She loses her visa. There's a whole situation with apps and tech, and she ends up slamming back to somewhere in England called Barnet. Hi Barnet, to be exact. It is complete fiction. So the musical takes place in this woman's bedroom. So she loses her visa, gets back to her parents' house, and she can't get out of bed. And pretty much the whole musical takes place in her bedroom when she's in bed. You can hear the voices of her family around. It's a very Jewish musical because it starts at Rosh Hashanah and it goes to the Jewish festival. So you can hear them all downstairs doing what Jews do best, which is argue.
And then you also can see when she's in touch with the people that she's friends with from New York, and they are beamed into her bedroom, and you can see them in the bedroom with the Facebook chats and the voice messages and the video calls. So this song is relatively a bit further on in the show, where she's coming out of a funk. When she first got back, she didn't talk to anyone, and then she has started messaging her friends and asking them how they are. And so she's like, and so this guy, I know I look like a girl who works in the church, because I am, but if you can pretend that I'm an extremely cool man, like very, very cool, like so cool, like he would just be the kind of guy who's just like, he's chill, he's cool, you know. After this, he'd probably be in the bar with like you and hey, and you as well, yeah. Just very, very cool. So she asks him, how are you? And he's like, yeah, I'm chill, I'm cool. Yeah, you know. And she's like, how's New York? And he's like, you know, New York, it's, you know, it's cool, you know. People get brunch, people get coffee, people feed their souls until they're hashtag blessed. People grab beers, people get cocktails, people don't forget what their slurs words confess. But I'm enjoying my time in this blessing and curse, also known as the center of the universe. People get jobs, people go sober, people break sobriety after watching the news. People get hyped, people get tired, people drown in paying their dues, and I'm in this never-ending cloud of blessing and curse, also known as the center of the universe. I'm in the center of the universe, watching the world around me just collide. In the center of the universe, the perfect place for a voyeur to hide. While people lose keys, people lose visas, people find their keys but lose their subway card. People find God, people find marriage, people find amusement in the avant-garde, whilst I'm living with this age-old crime in this blessing and curse, also known as the center of the universe. People are here, people are not here, people leave in pain so they're under the ground. People laugh, people make speeches, people wear black and they don't wear a sound, whilst are you hearing this band right now? It's really good. Center of the universe. The center of the universe. Front row seat to watch all the collisions collide. I'm in the center of the universe. The perfect place for this voyeur to hide. And then people return, people are honest, people watch the sunrise from a fire escape, people cry, people feel their hearts take a different shape, and I'm gone. People break up and you know your life will descend, and
So I like science. I really like science. I've really cared about trying to find the secret of the universe. I think we're all here trying to figure out what life is about. And I went to university to study science, and that didn't work. I thought I would be a doctor. That didn't work. And then I found musical theatre, which I think shows us a little bit about why we're here. I know that sounds weird, but I think the thing about music and words and stories all happening at the same time is scientists have shown it actually activates all different parts of your brain. And it actually anchors you in the present and also can move you through time, because the way music works is it's kind of like a camera and it kind of moves you back and forwards. And there's something that happens when you listen to music to your brain that is different. There's something that happens to your emotions that's different from any other time. And the reasons that religions use music is similar. The reasons that musicals use music is similar. So I often find that the most meaningful moments in my life happen when I'm exposed to music and stories at the same time. I find it deeply weird and shameful when people say musicals are shit, or that they hate them, or that they don't want to see them, because all music and all stories could be a musical if we let them. I think the Americans know it. I think we're still a bit behind. So anyway, I think my interest in musicals comes from my interest in science. So I've always been really devoted to the idea of finding really, really good science musicals, because I think that there's something about that moment of discovery, that moment of electricity, of finding something new about why we're here, that science and maths and all of those things give us. And I think a musical is a very good way of dealing with them, which is why I was really excited to meet the next composers who work on a musical about one of history's lesser known mathematicians. I'm going to introduce you to Freya Smith and Jack Williams.
Oh shit, it's us. The one time that I perform our work, I'm sporting a rather fetching eye infection. But the one positive I'm taking from this is that it means I can say that tonight the piece will be sung by me, myself, and Spy. I'm going to pass over to Jack, because last time we did a night at another theatre, he didn't say anything, and then they forgot to credit him as a writer on Twitter, so he wants to say something now.
Hello, I'm Jack, this is Freya. This is a musical we wrote for the Vault Festival this year, which is about Sophie Germain, who is often said as one of history's great forgotten figures, born just before the French Revolution, was completely kind of ostracised by the scientific community of the time, all men, but despite that, achieved many great things. And we're going to tell you a little bit about one of them in this song while I set up.
Yes, okay. This song, the version that we put on at Vault was an hour, but we really want to do more with this show, and so we're building it into a 2-act piece. And what we're doing, we're going to sort of look at more of the science and more of the maths, Adam will be pleased to hear, in more depth. And this song is about a competition, a nationwide competition, that Sophie ends up entering. And it results from a guy called Chladni. At the beginning of the 19th century, he tours Europe with this amazing new phenomenon, which is like these metal plates. Try and visualise now. These metal plates, and you sprinkle sand on them. And then when you play a violin bow against the metal, the change in the frequencies creates these really, really beautiful patterns. It is magic. And so Napoleon really likes this, and he's like, I'm going to set a competition for somebody in France to work out the maths behind this. But he and the Academy in France want all the entrants to do this by sticking to Newtonian ideas. And Sophie quickly realises that this just isn't going to work, and so she's going to approach it a little bit differently, and on a broader level it kind of reflects who she is in society as somebody who is really breaking the pattern of what they had come to expect from maths and the academic world. Okay, so we're going to have a go. Explain the maths of this enigma with style and grace, but make it fit with the systems we have in place. Strive to defend, not to debate. But if we stick to the rules, we'll eventually school. We must accept that our quest doesn't matter.
I'll start down here while the guitar switchover is happening. Seamless. So, days like today don't happen with just me. One of the cool things about being an adult is you can make friends and colleagues who feel the same about things as you do by meeting them in the world. And I really like musical theatre, as you can probably tell. And because of that, I've met other like-minded people who like musical theatre. And those people help to pull a day together like this and help to bring a community together like this. Because what you've seen is a community of people on stage giving their time and giving their art so that they can be heard, so that something might change. I want to thank my two brilliant associates for the day, the ever-present Ellie Coote. And the Signal production team at Debutant, the incredible Matthew Powell. It really is amazing what people do because they care. Thank you so much for coming. We've got 2 numbers left. The next writers did Signal 1, 2, and 3. Took a 4 and 5 sabbatical. Had a bit of a big hit. You might have heard of it. I'll let them tell you more about this song from their new show, the brilliant Toby Marlow and Lucy Moss.
Hello, I'm Toby, this is Lucy, Obs. And, we're not Obs actually. And we're going to do, so we've just, it's going to be great, you guys, honestly, don't worry about it. We've just come up from Kent, where we've been writing up on the train, and we're going to do a song that we started yesterday and finished this morning, and Lucy's going to tell you about it.
Okay, 2 things. Firstly, so in the show it'll be kind of like, we imagine it as like poppy waltz. So think like Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, like dance sequences happening, but with like iPhone torches as like Firefly vibes to bring in the day, you know. And then the second thing to say, so there's a dance break in it, so that's kind of what that's going to be for. And then the second thing is, so the show is kind of too embarrassing to actually tell you about it right now, but it's basically based on 2 friends who are tragically, chronically single and alone. Obviously, not autobiographical at all. And this is the number where one of them is trying to tell the other about how they have this ex who they feel like, even though they haven't spoken in years, they still can't get over. Again, can't stress enough that it's not autobiographical. Okay! Over to you.
I know it sounds insane. I know when I add it all up, can't begin to explain. I know it doesn't make sense. Trust me, I know that on paper it's all in my head. Yeah, I make no pretense. And then I think about you, and just you. And there's nothing I can do, wish it wasn't true. All I see is you, and no matter what I tell myself, lies I try to sell myself. Cause I know that like middle of the night, if you said alright, pack your bags and run away with me, well I wish that I would say no. I would abandon it all, drop everything at your call, leave everything, everyone for that scene I wanted all along, where we walk off into the sun. just my own. I hate myself for this song. I'm literally fine, don't know why I missed you for so long. I force myself to forget. Replace your full name with an X, so it's always crossed out every time that it's said. And then I think about you, just you, and how in a year or two I must start anew with somebody who should be perfectly enough for me. I could be his love story. But if you arrived middle of the night and you said alright, pack your bags and run away with me, wouldn't hesitate, I'd just go. I would abandon it all, drop everything at your call, leave everything, everyone for the scene. I want it all along. When we walk off into the sunset, watching the end credits run, let everything, everyone fade away like every final song. I would abandon it all. I would abandon it all. Anytime, anywhere, fuck it and go when you go. But as I stare at the screen on my phone, I won't see your face, just my own. I'll be waiting for your ringtone, staring at my face. No, it won't ring, but I'm waiting just in case. 'Cause I would abandon it all, drop everything at your call, everything, everything for the beat. I want it all along. When we walk off into the sunset, watching the end credits run, let everything, everyone fade away like every final song. I would abandon it all. I would abandon it all. Anyone, fuck it and go when you go. But as I stare at the screen on my phone, I won't see your face, just my own.
So you've heard 15 world premieres. 15! You're literally in the room as art was heard for the very first time and your eardrums were here. Except the people on the live stream or viewing later. I feel glad to be alive and in this room at this moment. And I hope you do too. We've got one more. Thank you for being here. I just want to say again, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep producing and presenting these incredible songs by these incredible artists to show the world that they're here. But we want to do more. We want to get them writing shows. We want to get those shows to grow. We want that growth to hit theatres and producers and people. Producers, if you're here, come talk to me. People with money, if you're here, come talk to me. People, if you're not here, come talk to me. If you're on a live stream, if you're watching it on delay. What I would say is, don't just speak to the writers, speak to me too, because we're all in this together and we're all trying to make this happen. I do think something's going to. What I'd ask, if you had a nice time, if you feel you had a good evening of entertainment that should have cost you money, donate that money to this non-profit that we're starting. I don't think it's too much to ask. I don't mean to be ranty or weird about it, but this is a pretty cool evening that should have cost a lot of money and it didn't. It really cost a lot of money because a load of people here gave us their time, and those people need your money and your help and your support. I started knocking on doors and no one listened. I decided I would move away from those doors and start a bonfire. If enough people came to the bonfire, it would get brighter and louder and bigger and cooler, and then the people would leave those doors and come and hang out at the bonfire. You've all been to the bonfire, and I thank you for that. And in 10 years, you can say you were at the bonfire when it started, because I'm telling you, it's going to start. It's going to burn some of those theatres down, but don't care. I'm telling you, when we find our next Hamilton, and when we find our next band's visit, and we find our next Moby Dick and Octet and whatever the hell else we're going to find in these people, and all the people will say, I wish we'd cared earlier, because music and theatre is where it's at. Music is where it's at, and stories is where it's at. And I would ask you to share that message, tell people, tweet, do all of the normal shit, but also if you've got money, if you know people with money, vote with your wallets and tell people that you want these writers to write more and produce more, because no one else is going to listen. Thank you. So, we've gone on long enough. You've had enough of my eulogising. All that leaves me to do is to thank everybody that's made tonight possible. The incredible, incredible band. Tamara, Kelton, Julie, Martin, keep it rolling. The incredible team of Czornyj, Barter, Pagoda, Tante Kim, the cameras that are around the live stream. Lucas E's on sound at the back. Ellie Jukes, Matt Powell. All the people that made today happen, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for the amazing writers and actors and everybody. And now, to bring us home, introduced to the stage, Tim Gilvin. Have a safe journey home, everyone.
I'm Tim.
I'm not Tim. I'm Alex.
And I did a song at Signal 2 or Signal 3, which was inspired by the Battle of Cable Street. And afterwards, Clarke, another great composer, said to me, that's so weird, a book writer has come to me with the same idea. So this is Alex Konevsky, the book writer. Oh. And like nearly a year later, we've got 2 songs. Alex is going to talk a bit about the history of it and where this song fits.
Okay, so we'll leave you on a very cheery note. It's the 1930s, and fascism is on the rise. Around the world, there are leaders like Hitler and Mussolini and Franco, charismatic and terrifying, which I'm sure nobody could imagine this day. Here in England, in the meantime, the press is pushing out lots and lots of information about too many immigrants coming over here, taking our jobs, taking our women. And in the meantime, there's a charismatic and handsome leader by the name of Sir Oswald Mosley, who leads the British Union of Fascists. And he has a plan to march the fascists through England, through the East End of London, the home of lots of Jews and Irish people.
So this song is a young guy who's in his teens, and he's going to one of the rallies, and he's pushing his way through the crowd. I should say that while I was writing this, I guess I was thinking about Signal, so some of the idea of a bonfire is slightly crept in. So it's like an anthem for all the values of Signal, but it's fascism. So, sorry Adam. I think it's intertextual. So, Alright, so this is Ronald outside the rally. Has it started? I need to hear what he's got to say. I want to hear him tear up the rules, sticking 2 fingers at the old school boys that never saw the trenches. I need to get inside, I want to hear. I've heard he wants to shake it all up, and I'm ready for a shake-up. I'm ready. me in, just let me in, just let me nearer, let me in. Must be 1,000 in this crowd. Let's light a fucking fire and let it burn, just let it burn. Move out the way, you've had your turn. We're ready for a new world, so let me in. It's electric, there's old soldiers in a crowd of girls. We're cheering for a new world. I'll try and squeeze a little nearer, so they know that I'm cheering too. They tell us Germany has gone too far, but in Germany they're making cars, and that's the truth. And I can say it proud and not get shut out. So you let me in, you let me in. You let us say what's on our mind. We don't get shushed or pushed aside or called a fucking liar. We know what's real, we know what's right. We're gonna shout it out all night when I get shut out of my whole world. You let me in. We won the war, but what was it for? My father's blood to get stuck in the mud. It's gone to the dogs, it's gone downhill. Since they closed the factories and closed the mills, we moved down here where it's crowded and shit, and they shut us down. But you let me in, you let me in. There's work to do, so let's begin. Let's hit the streets and show the world that we're not here to